Hey Stampers, I hope everybody is doing good, and I hope that you've received your spring or your occasions catalog from me. Here is the picture of our new occasions catalog. It is fantastic. Absolutely in love with this spring catalog, and if you've placed an order with me in the last 12 months, you should have received this catalog. And if you didn't, please don't panic. Just send me an email, sometimes with the volume of the mail that goes out. Sometimes they get lost, ripped. I don't really know what happens to them, but just let me know and I can send you another one. But one of the exciting things out of the spring catalog this year is our new cling mount stamps. That's right, we're super excited about that. So as you know, it was a little confusing there for a while. Stampin' Up had rubber stamps, right? We had wood mount and clear mount, and then we had photopolymer, which was completely clear. Well, now we're moving away from the wood mount and we're moving to cling stamps as well as photopolymer, right? So let me, I'm gonna show you up close kind of the difference in the two, but it's a new material, and the perfect thing about it is it's like super sticky. It is fantastic. And so in this post, I will have a download for the PDF that shows you all of the stamps in the occasions catalog that are cling mount. There's actually I believe this is double-sided. So you can see that we are moving to the cling mount and it is gonna be fantastic. I also have a PDF, and it's just kind of a best practices and how to mount your cling mount stamps. But I'm gonna go through that with you and share a couple of tips along the way. So why don't we go ahead and let's just get started. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is show you the difference between the cling mount stamp and our current stamps. Because you're probably like, well, they don't look much different. Well, they actually kind of do. So let me show you. This is our current stamps, and many of you know sometimes I've heard some of you say, well, Brandy, I didn't mount it right, or sometimes it puckered and it doesn't stick as well, and so sometimes they fall off. And that has been, something that Stampin' Up has been thinking about, and so they've come up with a new material called cling mount. Now these I've already mounted. And as you can see here, these guys are so sticky, they aren't even falling out. They are going nowhere. So let me flip one of these over. You gotta get right underneath them to kind of get them out of there. And I honestly, this was the first set that I mounted, and I recommend keeping the outline. It's just much easier because instead of sticking them on here, you can actually just kind of pop them out. But this was the first set I did, and I didn't realize that. So here is the back of this one. Can you see this one here is a bit shinier? And it's kind of a static is what kind of makes that cling really well. But this is a cling, and it's sticky and it is going nowhere. These things are fantastic. So when you stick them on the block, they are stuck. See that? They are not going anywhere. And then you have to gently get underneath them to peel them off the block. Now, what I did notice is you don't want to leave these on your block for a very long time because they're a lot harder to get off. So be really careful with that. Try to clean your stamps and tidy up when you're done, just so that, that they come off a lot easier for you. So what I'm going to do first is I think I'm going to show you how to mount one of these stamps. They're fairly easy, but it might, make a little bit more sense once you see it done. So I have the perfectly paired stamp set. This is out of our spring or occasions 2019 catalog. And so what I've got here, it's the same sort of thing as you would have seen in our other stamp set, except this is the cling mount sticker. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and pop out your stamp, just like that. You're going to pull the paper off the back, just like that. Now I'm using a big stamp, and I thought that it might be a little bit easier for you to see than a really tiny one. But you're going to do the exact same thing with the small ones. So here you can see if you bend the sticker, it kind of pops up here in the center. So you're going to pull back your sticky or your contact paper here. And now you are presented with your cling mount material. So this is the key. You've got one shot to mount it on here, and you don't want to mount it crooked. And once it's mounted, you can't peel it off. You're going to ruin the foam. So just be very careful. Take your time and just try to line up the stamp the best that you can. I generally start from either the top or the bottom, or if I feel like it's a stamp that I can see the sides well, I might start from the sides. But here I'm going to start from the bottom, just like that. And then I'm just going to let it all sort of fall into place. Just like that. Perfect. And you can see it's still on that paper, right, like that. And then what I'm going to do is just gently peel it off. And now I have got my Cling Mount stamp mounted. Now this stuff is super sticky. It is not coming off. So it is just fantastic. And so if you stick it on your block, you are good to go and you can start stamping. Now again, be very, very careful when you go to peel these off. All right, so you don't want to leave them on your block overnight. You don't want to leave them on there for a very long time. It'll be a lot harder to get off. But just be really gentle when you pull them up, because you can ruin your foam if you start digging at them. So like I said earlier with the stamp set that I've shown before, I would just keep it in my container just like this. This was the first one that I mounted, and I stuck it to the case. But the case doesn't bend very well, so it's kind of hard to get up underneath that cling mount, all right? So there's nothing wrong with this, but you know, I just have found through experience that it's a lot easier just to kind of leave it in the outline, and mostly because you just kind of come from underneath and just kind of pop it out. So I do love that a lot. Now let's talk about how to clean these really quick. When you are using these stamps, these Cling Mount stamps, you're going to want to avoid any type of alcohol-based cleaner, and that's because it can ruin the cling on there. So just try to avoid any alcohol-based cleaner. So you're good to go with running water, maybe a Stampin' Mist, something like that. So just think about that when you're working with your Cling Mount stamps. All right, now I will have a PDF here that was produced by Stampin' Up. This will be on BrandysCards for you to download, and it just kind of gives you the how to assemble, kind of the same thing that we just went over, and then of course best practices and how to, you know, how to get your, just to keep it clean and, you know, to have it, the life of it last, right? Because you don't, you know, they stick so well that you got to be careful that you don't tear the foam and that sort of thing. So that's what that's all about. And they do note up here that once the label's on the stamp, it's adhered permanently. So we did discuss that. All right, so one of my dear friends, Lisa Cercio, she shared a really great tip, and I am going to share that tip with you too. It was brilliant. And so what she did, she basically said, well, don't throw away the rest of your paper after you add your stickers, because all of this extra space is also Cling Mount material. So I thought that was fantastic, because I do have a couple of stamp sets that I absolutely love that I could use some Cling Mount on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the Petal Palette. And I use this Congratulations a lot. And I just thought, well, let's just go ahead and Cling Mount this one. Now this one has the sticker from the normal Clear Mount stamp, the Stampin' Up Clear Mount stamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and it looks like I've got this palette there. I'm going to switch that around to the poker tool, lock that into place. So I have that guy ready. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and what I recommend is just starting from a corner. Now I would say to try to stay near the edges, and I think that, you know, because you want to be able to use as much of this as possible, so stay near the edges so that, you know, you can kind of strategically place your stamps and use as much of this cling material as you can. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and stick this right here on top of the Cling Mount. All right, so once it's on there, then we're going to take a pair of snips. Now, just so you know, these are the snips that I like to use. However, if you have a designated pair of paper snips that you like to use, you know, for like, because this is ooey and gooey, right? Definitely grab those. But I do want to let you know that if you don't and you use your normal scissors, you can always just get thing of alcohol wipes, and that takes off any adhesive really nicely. So what I'm going to do now is just trim around my stamp, just like this. And basically what I'm doing is I'm cutting off all the additional cling mount that might be on there. So that's again why you want to stay near the edges, because you don't want to waste this stuff. It's fantastic. All right. So you've got your take your pick tool, and you just kind of have to get up in here and start picking until you can. And sometimes I've noticed, as I've been done a few of my stamps, it does take a little bit to kind of get in there and pick it off, but it will be worth it if you can get it off there, right? See that? There you go. Perfect. And so now I have a mounted cling mount stamp. Just like that. Perfect. How cool is that? So I just really appreciated that tip, and I was super excited to share it with all of you as well. So again, just be really careful when you remove it from your block, right? Because now it's super sticky, and you don't want to leave that on overnight. We're going to stick it right back in our little case, right? Just like that. And because these others aren't mounted, I'm going to stick this guy here in the bottom so it doesn't stick to it. Perfect. All right, so this is our new cling mount stamp. I just think they're fantastic, and you're going to find them all throughout our new spring and occasions catalog, as well as the celebration catalog. So watch for those. Of course, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. If you visit Brandy's Cards, you can download this cling mount stamp, how to assemble it, the introduction to it, as well as this PDF that talks about all of the new stamps that are cling mount inside of the spring catalog. So I sure do appreciate you stopping by today. I hope that you found this helpful as you start to get your new stamps in the mail and kind of wonder how to mount them and put them together. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to send me an email, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. And I'm grateful for you, grateful for your business, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, guys. Have a blessed day. Bye, everybody.